What if I told you the secret to navigating the chaos of modern life has been played in smoky clubs for over a century? We are living in an era of relentless uncertainty. Our careers pivot unexpectedly, our plans are upended by global events, and the path forward often feels like a dense fog. We crave a map, a formula, a guarantee. But such things no longer exist. We are told to be resilient, to adapt. But what does that actually look like? The answer, I believe, doesn't lie in a business textbook or a productivity seminar. It's found here, in the heart of jazz. Jazz improvisation isn't just making things up. That's a profound misunderstanding. It is a highly structured, deeply communicative art form built on a core paradox: embracing constraints to achieve freedom. A jazz musician doesn't just play random notes. They operate within a framework, a chord progression, a tempo, a key signature. Think of this as the unchangeable circumstances of your life. You have a budget, a family, a set of existing skills, a location. These are your chord changes. The novice freezes, paralyzed by the structure. The master, however, hews the structure and asks, within these chords, what is possible? They have practiced their scales, their arpeggios, their melodic patterns so relentlessly that the fundamentals are second nature. This is the first lesson. Master your scales. In your own life, what are your scales? They are your core competencies, your non-negotiable habits, your deep knowledge in your field. Whether you're a graphic designer mastering typography or an entrepreneur mastering cash flow, this foundational practice is what allows you to improvise when a client makes a wild request or the market suddenly shifts. You aren't starting from scratch, you're dancing on a foundation of mastery. When uncertainty hits, you don't have to think about how to play your instrument. You can focus entirely on what you want to say. The second principle is perhaps the most crucial: deep listening. A jazz performance is a conversation. The saxophonist doesn't just wait for their turn to solo. They are intensely listening to what the drummer is playing, how the bassist is walking, what harmonic colors the pianist is adding. They are in a constant state of call and response. The drummer plays a complex rhythm, the call. The saxophonist might echo a piece of that rhythm in their melody, the response. This is what makes the music feel alive, interactive, and unified. It is the opposite of isolated performance. How often in a crisis do we stop listening? We retreat into our own heads, focusing only on our own panic, our own part of the problem. We stop listening to our team, our family, our customers, our own intuition. Thriving in uncertainty requires you to become a master listener, to listen not just for what is being said, but for the rhythm of the situation. What is the underlying need behind a client's complaint? What is the unspoken fear in your team's hesitation? Listen deeply, and your response, your solo, will be perfectly in tune with the reality of the moment, not the plan you wrote last week. The most counterintuitive lesson from jazz is about mistakes. In a classical performance, a wrong note is a failure. In jazz, it can be an opportunity. There's a famous story about the legendary trumpeter Miles Davis. During a solo, his pianist hit a glaringly wrong chord, a moment of potential disaster. A lesser musician would have faltered. But Miles, without missing a beat, heard the wrong chord, paused for a fraction of a second, and then played a beautiful, searching melody that made the chord sound intentional, like a deliberate, breathtaking detour. He didn't correct the mistake, he incorporated it. This is the principle of embrace the wrong note. Your biggest career blunder, your failed project, your unexpected setback, it feels like a wrong chord. You have two choices: stop playing, or use that note as the starting point for a new, unexpected, and perhaps even more interesting melody. The uncertainty of life will play wrong notes. Your job is not to avoid them, but to learn how to resolve them into something beautiful. This brings us to the final unifying idea: finding freedom in structure. The ultimate goal of a jazz musician is to be able to express themselves fully, to play what they feel in the moment. But this freedom isn't born from chaos. It's born from the synthesis of all the other principles. It's the mastery of their scales, the deep listening to their bandmates, and the courage to incorporate so-called mistakes. The structure of the song doesn't limit them. It gives them a playground. The uncertainty of what the other musicians will play isn't a threat. It's a source of inspiration. So how do we apply this? Let's reframe our own uncertainties through this lens. That intimidating new project at work, that's your chord progression. Master your scales by breaking the project down and reinforcing your core skills related to it. The shifting needs of your clients or your family, that's your band. Listen deeply to the call of their needs before you play your response. That sudden, unexpected setback that ruined your perfect plan, that's the wrong note. Don't panic. Incorporate it. Ask, given this new note, what melody can I play now? Living in a VUCA world feels like being asked to perform a solo, live, with no sheet music. It can be terrifying, but the jazz musician shows us the way. They don't fear the unknown. They have a process for it. They trust their foundation of practice, they trust the conversation with their collaborators, and they trust their ability to turn any surprise into part of the song. The goal, then, is not to eliminate uncertainty. That is impossible. The goal is to change our relationship with it, to stop seeing the unwritten future as a terrifying void and start seeing it as a bar of unplayed music, a space for improvisation. By adopting the mindset of a jazz musician, we can learn to not just endure the chaos of our times, but to find our own unique, beautiful, and meaningful music within it.